And coming up on the Marty Mariner Show, well, if this channel had its own awards, which maybe we should someday, this guy would take home my Player of the Season award. Sam Silvera, I think he's had an absolutely outstanding season, is here in the Marty Mariner showroom for a bit of a chat, bit of a chinwag, bit of a conversation. We're going to talk to him about his early years of playing, his time where he went through the Wanderers, first time around at the Mariners. We're going to talk to him a bit about Portugal, the experience that he had over there. Of course, coming back to Australia, a bit of time with the Jets, but we can forgive him for that. He is now back home at the Central Coast Mariners, and we're going to ask him what it's been like since that game in Adelaide. The boys are absolutely on a high, training the house down today, I hear as well. We're going to ask him all about that coming up very, very soon. Just a reminder too, if you have not subscribed to our channel, it is free to do so. And we are a whisker away from having 100 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate that. It is free, and it also lets everyone know that we are out there, help spread the word that we have a channel talking to Mariners players, both past and present, and a few other interviews that we're going to be scattering in here very, very soon. And don't forget to hit the like button. It also lets me know that they're the kind of interviews that you like to see. But we better not hang around. We better not keep the great man waiting any longer. It's time to have a bit of a chat to Sammy Silvera. It's coming up. It's the Marty Mariner Show. And welcome back to the Marty Mariner Show. And as I said in the introduction, well, if we had season awards here at the Marty Mariner Show, this guy would be my pick for Player of the Year. He's been absolutely outstanding. Sammy Silvera, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show.
No worries at all, my friend. Mate, question that we ask everyone when we first start up, were you always going to be a professional footballer?
Footballer or golfer, to be honest.
Wow.
I had a choice when I was pretty much 13. Not so much a choice, but there was a pathway where I was doing very well at golf and had a lot of stuff that was set up where I could follow that direction. And then that was over in the Northern Beaches. And then again, playing football at the same time. Then I had an opportunity to move out to Western Sydney.
Yeah.
And I followed that.
Yeah. And do you still... I think I've seen a few pics on Insta. You still get out to the golf course and have a bit of a bash around?
Yeah, of course. Whenever I can.
And still no thoughts of going back, mate? There's plenty of money in golf at the moment, isn't there?
There's a lot. I haven't ruled it out after my career.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, we need you for a few more years yet, mate. So forget that idea to go. Mate, born in London, any EPL team that you follow?
Chelsea.
Oh, no.
Chelsea, 100%. I was born, I think, 5 minutes away from there.
Right, from Stamford Bridge.
Yep. So it's always been Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Tottenham fan, mate. So we'll probably skip the EPL chat. We'll move right along. So.
We definitely can do that. No bragging rights there at all.
Oh, there's not much going on at all, mate. So, So when you first started, youth-wise, I think you're out Blacktown way when you first started.
Yeah. So from my first rep team was Blacktown City under 12s.
Yep.
And then I went into the Football New South Wales Institute for the next 2 years. Then the Wanderers and Sydney FC academies came out, and I didn't make it into that the first year. So then I went back to Blacktown City, and that's when I signed up after that season for the Wanderers, and I was there for 2.5 years. And after that, signed my first professional contract, the Mariners.
Absolutely. And mate, those early years when before you get in a contract, you're trying hard to get it. Was there ever a point where you went, look, this is just not going to happen for me?
No, to be honest. I think growing up, well, at that early stage, I always wanted to be in that Wanderers sort of Sydney Academy when it first came out, and I was quite hard on myself when I didn't make it the first year. But then, once I got in that academy, I knew I was doing really well. I knew the opportunity was going to come. I knew like that. That there was players ahead of me that were older than me that were sort of on their last year at the club, whether they do well or they earn that contract or not. So
Yeah.
I always knew I had a bit of time, but then it was always promising signs where I think at 16, when I was in under 20s at Wanderers, I got called up to go to the first team, but I couldn't actually go because I had testing on at the time for
Oh, okay.
school.
Right. Okay.
Tried to beg my mum to let me go, but she insisted
Can't argue with mum, mate. Can't argue with mum.
yeah, not at all. But then after that, then after I left Wanderers, there was a period there where also after I left school, I was still playing for the Wanderers. That
Yep.
was a period where I was coaching and playing.
Yep.
But yeah, I still never doubted that I wouldn't
That's
get a
awesome.
contract, and
That's
lucky
awesome.
it's with the Mariners.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And the first contract with the Wanderers yourself. Do you remember the day that you got rang or notified that here's a contract for you?
No, so with Wanderers, I was only the NYL contracts
Right.
that I received. But there was an opportunity for me that to go overseas
Yep.
at the time. I think I was like 2.5 years into Wanderers,
Yep.
and I was actually going to join with all the legal stuff. Like I was going to join an NPL team for 3 or so weeks and then go
Yep.
overseas just because it makes it easier. But
Yep.
then at the same time, Mariners were interested in me and three other boys from the
Yep.
youth academy, and Wanderers knew about this, and Wanderers basically said like you have a choice whether you want to stay here or you want to follow that opportunity. And at that time, it was kind of an easy decision for me compared to the other boys. They didn't know where they were sort of ended up. Wanderers was their
Yep.
place that they knew they were safe, but I kind of had my head set on going overseas, or
Yep.
so I thought, you know what, why not? I'm just gonna go for this opportunity at Mariners,
Yep.
and I think the only one or one or I think I was the only one that got a contract
Yep.
from that. So yeah.
Yeah. And what was your your reaction? You come up to the Central Coast because obviously we're a little bit different. Terrigal with the beaches, a bit different to Western Sydney, and it's like, what, I'm going to be playing football here. I mean, what was the reaction when you first came down?
To be honest, it was actually very good. I came up, and my first year I stayed with two boys that I knew from out in Western Sydney area.
Yep.
Still to this day, they're very close friends. So Mario Shabao and Abraham Majok, we stayed in the same house together,
Nice.
and that was a part of home, I guess. Just the way they act and everything.
Yep. Yep.
So it wasn't not so much the coasty way, but yeah, it was different. Like
Yep.
especially with the players, like they're not really so they don't really care about that like a flashy lifestyle that you used to
Yep.
when you see some of these overseas players coming in from at Wanderers or
For sure.
exactly like that. So that it was chill. I thought every weekday was super chill. Nothing was too out of control compared to Sydney. And then
Yep.
weekends was great as well. It was a good life, and I didn't really venture too much into Terrigal at that time. We kind of just stayed in the house, but
Yep.
yeah, it was good. Loved it.
Definitely not a bad spot to be. And of course, so in the first round at the Mariners, were there any players who sort of pulled you under their wing, or you sort of stuck around a little bit in those early days?
Not really, to be honest. I think it was a kind of segregated group at the time because there was a lot of young boys and then older
Yep.
boys.
Yep.
Obviously Matt Simon, he wasn't um I wouldn't say too fond of us, but he always would pick on our backs when we were
Yep.
like slack in training, or if always wanted more, he always
Yep.
made sure that we'd go into tackles and give it 100% every day.
Yep.
But I think there was always that just competing nature with the young boys
Yep.
as well. I think if I had to say one was Danny De Silva,
Yep.
just because he was more of a younger boy, more towards our age, but he was always the flashy, sort of my style, like flashy. Likes to be on the ball, likes to create things. So that was one person that I looked at.
Absolutely. And of course, Matty Simon now the sporting director at the club. So he's still probably hasn't changed one little bit in that regard either. Mate, then you moved on from there, went over to Portugal. So tell us about the experience of playing over in Europe.
Tough. I think first 3 weeks was good. Settled in great. I was training well. I had a bit of problems with like trying to get my first game because I had to declare it with the Football Federation there, and finally got it second or third round into the season.
Yep.
And came on in the 40 at halftime, and 10 minutes in, one of the big centre backs against the Benfica Youth Academy or B team just landed straight on my ankle, just his whole body weight, and I was pretty much out for 4 months. I tore 3 muscles in the ankle on the inside and then damaged ligament on the outside.
Yep.
So yeah, by the time I got back, it was after all the rehab, everything. And even just mentally getting over being able to kick a ball on my left foot took, close to 4 months. And then finally got my first minutes back, got 15 minutes, played well.
Yep.
And I got COVID after that game. And so pretty much I was out for another month before I played again.
Yeah.
And at that stage, it's like you really understand how European football works. It's so cutthroat.
Yeah.
They'd already got in a player like during that time because the transfer window was still open when I initially done the injury.
Right.
And so they thought, we have to do something quickly. So they got a player in, and by the time that I was over COVID and everything, they'd already signed another player, and they basically said to me, you got one game, short terms, you got one game, we're going to give it to you, we're going to give you an opportunity.
Yep.
And played 75 minutes. I did, to be honest, very well.
Yep.
For a player that hasn't played in 6 months.
Yep.
Even to last for 75 minutes. And then because I didn't assist or score, they said, look, you did well, but you didn't do enough. And
Crazy.
that was it. I had to go on loan again.
Yep.
For a third division team, just purely because I wanted game time. I could have stayed and kept fighting for a position, but I needed to get back to playing time. And third division is a whole different level compared. It's just scrappy and physical, and it's just direct. That's it. There's no technical real ability about it, not as much. But that was a big learning curve, I guess. That was an even more difficult time then.
Yeah.
But lucky I knew someone in that team, just randomly met, didn't even know, but he was from Australia. Okay. We used to be in the same academy when we were younger.
Nice.
So I got on. I'm glad he was there because I got along with him very well.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was just I didn't know where I was going to end up or what happened, and then, but I went back for pre-season for Paços de Ferreira, and the coach didn't really want to know much about me, I guess. He was playing me at right back, maybe not even really as a winger. And then until one game we versed Braga B in pre-season, and one of the wingers got injured in the 20th minute, and I came on.
Yep.
I did very well, and my agent gets a call after that game, and the coach goes, "Wow, he can actually play." So then, like pre-season, I started playing as a winger. I started getting more minutes, but he said to me, "Look, I've already got my squad. I've got 6 wingers, including you."
Yep.
And he just said, "I would like you to go on loan, find somewhere on loan where you're going to play and get minutes and score goals, and then come back next year." And then, so he liked me, he wanted me back for next year. But then even, I think it was about 8 games into that season, he got sacked. So wasn't great at all.
Wasn't going to happen. Do you think people have? I think when you sort of hear, they're going over to Europe to play. They're going to. People really don't have a really true idea about what it's really like for a lot, right?
No, I don't think I do. I think most people I hear that they say, "Oh, they're too young," or then it's not going to work out. He should have stayed here for a bit longer. I mean,
Yeah,
every kid when they grow up wants to go and play over Europe, so you got to go and take that opportunity when it comes, and that's
yeah,
what I did.
yeah,
But it's just the fact that when you go over there, you have to be on your game from the start, pretty much. I mean, some teams might give you a bit of leniency with where they give you a longer contract and they want you to adjust for a bit over time. But
sure.
um, even for me, like they gave me 3-year contract and they knew that I needed to settle in. But when I went to that second division team on loan, they weren't going to let me adjust. They said
Yeah,
you need to be firing from the start. I
ready.
was meant
Yeah,
to be a starter, and
yeah.
obviously it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. I mean, I guess there's still an experience gained from it that sort of gives you a strength, I guess, to sort of push on.
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
mean, if it couldn't get any worse, you came back and played for the Jets for a season or so. I mean,
Oh,
we
that
know
was worse.
we know the crowd up there love you. We heard that all in the derby. They were wishing you well in the semi-finals, and they were saying, "Good on you, Sammy. We love you. Uh, great goals and all that sort of stuff." But the best
Well,
didn't you hear that? It's loud and clear from what we were hearing. Um, but mate, you've ended up back at the Mariners, and we're ecstatic about that. Told you the minute that you arrived. I think it's fantastic. Just initially, the different feel around the club this time to when you were here the first time around a couple of seasons ago.
um, I think it was the fact that first time around it was. I actually feel, I think I've said this before. Again, there was that difference in the group where it was young and old.
Yep.
I think there was a lot less experience
Yep.
compared to experience. So there was a bit of a clashing heads at the time, and I think the coach at the time, Stadge, he had good ideas,
Yep.
but I think it was just in a way the group wasn't quite gelling as it is compared to now. I think yes, we do still have that older and younger group, but I think the
Mm.
way that we um like fight for each other as
Yep.
well, even like the bond that we have off the pitch as well
Yep.
is very important. And I think the way that Monty and Serge coach us, it's not all this technical like analysis. It's we're young, we have to prove something pretty much when we haven't done anything. So we have to always be
Mm.
at 10-20% more when we go out and play games. So we all defend together and we all attack together, and that's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask you about Monty. I mean, we can throw Serge very much in the same basket. About we hear all the time about all these young players around the A League, and if only Monty could get a hold of him. If only we've seen that guys from the academy, from the work he's done there, that's developed. But what is it about Monty that sort of, I guess, puts him to that where these young players just respond to him so well? What is it that he actually does? Do you think?
I think he understands you as a player,
Hmm.
and he uses that in his coaching role. Um, I guess he would have been that captain when he first came here and played, and
Yeah.
he would have seen that style of how the young boys are here.
Yeah.
Um, but he knows what it takes to
Yeah.
make it and do very well. So I think the way he coaches you is not like some of the coaches that I've had before, where it's all pretty possession and
Hmm.
you gotta basically pass the ball into the net.
Yeah.
It's not like we're a great passing team as well. But Monty already knows we can do that. It's the it's the stuff that you don't really see in Australian football, where
Mhm.
that you're going to tackles harder than your opponent. Making sure for me, when I came to the club, the big thing was for me for defending.
Mm.
So making sure they track back all the way, and um, I get even more hungry when to get the ball back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how he is, and that's how he was as a player, and that's how he kind of coaches us as well.
Yeah. Because I think, talking to you throughout the season, just you always just want to keep on pushing. It's never, I'm happy with how things are going. We're going great. It's next game will be better. Next game you want to do, even after a win, it just doesn't matter. And, I love it. I mean, I know you hate it if you get subbed, but I just see your reaction and you're so filthy because you want to be out there doing your thing. And I love that because to me, that just shows passion that you want to be out there. But the whole team's like that, right? You see anyone come off in one of those games, they're like, I want to be out there. I want to play my part. That just seems to have spread throughout the whole squad.
Yeah, I think the way that we're playing and the way that he coaches us and he tells us like especially for me, he says like defending, do your job, but in attack, express yourself, do what you want, because he puts full trust in every one of his attackers like that. Even the midfielders or the fullbacks when they start bombing forward, like it gives us all the confidence and the belief that we need. So it's really good to see. And then like, again, it's not great that I show a bit of anger when I come off the pitch, but I know that at the end of the day, like I did my role for the team, and
Absolutely.
he knows that when fresh legs are needed, like it's needed. So yeah, that's it.
We love it. It's like he's filthy. It's great. We don't want to see people sticking their hand up and say, "Yeah, boss, I've had enough." I don't think you'd ever get on the park again. But mate, the way the season has gone too, I think I was trying to see if there was not a turning point, but there was a moment in the season where we just seemed to we turned from that point. And I'm looking at March when we lost to Melbourne Victory down in Melbourne. It was a 2-0 result. Everyone was gutted about it. But since then, we seem to have just snapped or gone up another gear. What was that a particular game where you guys said, "Look, we're better than this. This is really a point for us"?
Oh, for sure, that one was. I think even throughout that period where I think we didn't get, I think it was in 8 or 9 games where we didn't get much wins at all.
Yep.
We went to, I think another one was like we knew we were really upset about, but we should have won was the Perth game away.
Yeah.
Again, like so unfortunate to go 2-0 down in 20 minutes when we had so many chances and they couldn't even get a sniff in the first half.
Yeah.
But they just scored 2 goals, and then we showed so much character to go away and come back to war, and then we hit the post and we had another opportunity. So that's where we should have won, but that was as upset as we were. I think that was a little confidence booster for us.
Yep.
And then I think we started to show what we are showing now in patches, but just not quite enough. And then we started to get a lot more players back from injury. So that was big for us. Again, we showed some great games. I think after that, again at home to Wellington. We just didn't finish our chances. We knew we created them, but we didn't finish them. And then we were getting our players back then. But I think once we started to get all of our players back, there was more competition in the squad for places. So everyone was pushing themselves. And I think you see that now. Like everyone wants to be on the park. Everyone wants to play minutes. So we're all training very hard and putting our bodies on the line and training to just be ready for that game.
Absolutely, because I mean, there's despite when we don't know who we're playing yet, but I know guarantee in those semi-finals, no one will want to miss out. The game over in Adelaide, I mean, I was on my way home from Armidale listening to it on the radio. Shout out to the Coast FM boys, did a great job as usual. But it just seemed to be that, and I'm watching the game recently, but we just never seemed to be troubled. It just seemed to be, it's almost like Monty has said, right, boys do this, and it just happened. And I know it's hard work and everything coming together, but what was it about that game? Because no one expected it, apart from us, really.
I think going into that game, even I was saying to some of the boys, like before we left, I said, I just knew we're gonna do well. I have a feeling, I just from the minute before we even got on the flight, even prior to that, so 5 games prior to that, Monty set us a task of we have 15 points to play for. And we went out there and took 13 points from it, except for Melbourne City, where I believe like they had their chances as well, where they could have beat us, but we had our chances as well.
We had chances, absolutely.
We could have smashed them as well. So it could have been an even bigger scoreline in that game. But I think from all those games, the belief we had, and then going into that game, we just knew that everything that what we were looking for, that second spot, the AFC spot, it's all in our hands, and
Yeah,
we weren't too focused on that, to be honest. Monty believed as soon as we got on the plane, as soon as we walked out there, that
yeah,
we were going to win. And the feeling throughout the game, like it was like that's a hard place to go to, like nearly a packed
absolutely,
out stadium,
absolutely.
and they were loud,
Yeah,
but they were on the ropes. And
yeah.
to be fair, they've had a strong season. They're a class side, but I mean, credit to us. We just stuck to our game plan, and just happy we came away with that result.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely stoked. Gives us now a week off. I don't know if I'm a fan. I mean, we've earned it, but I don't know. I just like playing all the time. What's your view? Are you someone who, yeah, I just want to have a game this weekend? Watching it just doesn't do it for me.
Um, no, I think it's in our favor.
Yeah,
You know, we get the rest. I think it has been a long season,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
everyone's got that tired feeling. But I think again, it's all in our hands, and we're not changing the way we're training. We're not
Yep.
taking days off or shortcuts, and
Good, good.
so we've had a big session today,
Yeah,
which is just like normal, just like our normal Tuesday session.
yeah,
But we're gonna prepare the same way.
yeah,
Keep keep going. I think regardless of who we go against,
yeah.
we got confidence we're gonna win.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Adelaide and Wellington. I mean, I guess there's going to be that confidence travelling to Adelaide again after what happened last time. Doesn't mean that's going to be the result, but at least there's going to be confidence there. And Wellington's always a tough game anyway. But has Monty very much shut down the idea of I don't want you thinking past this next game? Don't even think about grand finals. Next game, that's all we're focused on.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think as week comes to week, then that's the focus. That's
Yeah,
been it throughout the whole season. I don't think he's really ever spoke about this certain game in the future or whatever. I think unless it's been where we've had three important games in a row or big games in a row where we
yeah,
feel like we can get some momentum, but it's always been this game now. Like this is our focus, and again, right now we don't know who we're gonna verse, but
yeah,
we're just we're continuing the way we train,
yeah,
and then when it comes to next week and we know, then we'll be preparing.
yeah. I saw an interview that you did pretty recently where you said coming to the Central Coast was a life changer for you. What did you mean by being a life changer?
Uh, I think I didn't enjoy football for a while. It
Yeah,
was pretty tough for me in Portugal. Not that I didn't enjoy it there, but
yeah,
just the fact that I didn't play. Like I really liked the way of football there and the learning
yeah,
aspect of it. Um, and again, like I wanted to come back to the Mariners after that period,
yeah,
but I think at the time they were looking for more of a permanent player, and I was wanting to come back on loan because I still had another two more seasons with
sure,
my team over in Portugal.
sure.
And then not to talk too much about the rivals, but that was not a
Yeah,
place where I wanted to be,
yeah,
and just everything wasn't great about that. And
yeah,
then I wasn't really happy at all with football. I wasn't. I was a bit like, kind of like whatever happens with football.
yeah,
If I continue playing professionally, if I don't, it is what it is. But
yeah,
and then Monty called me up, and he he was just ready to sign me right then and there, and oh, I was over the moon. I was over the moon to get a 3-year contract, and then coming
absolutely.
into training, the boys how they were, and the lifestyle on the on the coast
Yeah,
is unbelievable, and
yeah,
now I'm loving my football again. I'm happy.
absolutely. Absolutely. And as I said before, mate, there's certainly worse places to live if you're an A-League footballer than living on the Central Coast and playing as well.
Yeah.
We can sort of fast forward, I guess, to the second semi-final, which will be at home. Again, we don't know who it'll be against. From a player's point of view, the fact of getting that place packed out, full of Mariners fans, is going to be the lift that not that you'll need a lift to be motivated, but it really helps, doesn't it? Like you walk out, you hear the crowd going, that just gives the little bit more, doesn't it?
Oh, it's the 12th man on the pitch.
Yeah,
To be honest, that game, I'm pretty sure it was Melbourne City,
Melbourne City, yeah.
where I think it was just over 10,000, and
Yeah, 10 and a half,
like
yeah.
that was probably one of the first games that in a while that I felt like, wow, like, because when you're on the pitch, you're pretty zoned in.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't hear the crowd, but
Yeah.
that was one of the first times where I was like, wow, I can actually hear the crowd. And
Yeah.
even some of the boys on the bench were saying, like, when we scored, like, the place was rocking. So
Absolutely.
that's us. That's so important for us. And we know, regardless of whoever comes, we're gonna put in a great performance at home.
Absolutely.
And fans and the supporters are going to be
Yeah.
even better. It's going to make us better.
And I was saying to a few, I mean, we're Bay 18, we're a bit too old for Bay 16 these days. We sort of shuffle over a little bit. But, saying to a few of the guys there who've, we've been there since season 1. And, there's been games since then that have sort of felt the same, but that felt really back to where it used to be kind of thing. And I just know that everyone's talking about that second semi-final, bringing the boys home. And, well, the treasure that could come at the end of that, which we'll just wait and see. But mate, thanks for taking time to have a chat today. I know you had a massive training session today, and it's a big week or so for you guys. Looking forward to seeing who you're going to be playing against, and seeing you back at the stadium in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, it was great to speak with you. Great to be on the show. Thank you for having me, and it was unreal.
No worries, man. We'll catch up with you soon.
All right, take care.
Thanks, Sammy. And that is the end of our show. Massive thank you once again to Sammy Silvera for taking time out. Boys, full on with their training. You heard Sammy talking about. Took some time out to have a bit of a chat with us. Great to hear the experiences that he's had overseas. Some pretty tough, but it's all led him to the Mariners. And look where we are sitting now. Looking forward to a massive semi-final series coming up very, very soon at Industry Group Stadium. Don't forget, as I mentioned at the start of the video, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. We want to try and get over that 100 mark by the time the semi-finals get started. It is free, our favourite words, and it also helps spread the word for the Central Coast Mariners to let everyone know that we are here doing the interviews that we do. Don't forget to hit that like button as well. Also lets me know that these are the type of interviews that you guys love to see. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. Look forward to bringing you another interview very, very shortly. It's been the MartyMariner Show.